Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video on the computer club session from yesterday regarding documentation, right? And so one of the first things that you need to know as an IT professional is to document every computer that you work on. And here's a very simple, this is not even a form, this is just like a sheet with like some fields that we need to know, right? So we would need to use the user. My user tends to be Arbarius. My password is something undefined. The location would be, you can say, if it's in the school, right, you would put the school number or the school, whatever room it is, right, or office. OS, let's say Linux, right, you can say, or in this case, we need to be more specific, so we would say Ubuntu, right? 22 long-term release, I think it's called, or something like that, or Windows 11, and then you would do the version, right? So Windows has some versions like 21 HR or something like that, or I forget what it is, but those are the things that you need to keep track of. And then the CPU, you could say, i7 10300K, something like that. RAM, how much RAM do you have? GPU, if there is such thing, you can say built-in, or you would say like a 1050 GT NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA 1050 GT. HD, you can say, like Samsung Evo 850, and then so that would be the size, the drive, the parameter, right, and then the size, 1 terabyte, right, 1 terabyte. The network, right, you can say, okay, so it's it has a built-in Ethernet, or something like Netgear 1X blah 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 10 gigabyte card, right? Something along those lines. So you have to be descriptive. You have to know and understand your system. Same thing with Wi-Fi, mouse, keyboard, blah blah blah. And this is the other part of this sheet, right? Is knowing what software you have installed. So if we were in Linux on a server machine, for instance, we would have Apache, PHP, MySQL, Java, and most likely some other type of virtualization software. So that's where all of this goes in. And so now keeping track of something like this in Excel is pretty silly, right? Because you could be managing 1,000 machines. So this is the other best part of this, is that we're going to create a quick database to keep track of this. And then after we keep track of this database, after we create this database, we're going to create a web interface to manage all of this information. All right, so we are here, we're in my database, we're on my PHP, MySQL, I've already installed my LAMP server, and we're going to go create a database. We're going to call it computer IT info, ELAC, right? ELAC computer club IT info. All right, so here it is. We're going to create a database, and now we're going to create some tables, right? So our first table here is the computer info, right? So we have computer info, or computers, right? We need how many columns? One. Technically, we need more. The user should be independent from the thing, so we're going to create a separate table for that. So, but in this case, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at least 10, 11, because we need a size of the thing. And if we have more than one network cards, we should have 2. So let's do like 15 fields. All right, and then the first of all is the computer ID, and this is going to be a serial number, which we can just So the first was a computer serial number, right? And we want to make sure that is it's fine. It's a primary and it's unique, right? So it's primary. This is all changed a little bit, so you guys have to forgive me. I haven't written one of these in a while. Okay, so we're gonna make it a primary key. It should be unique as well. Anyway, index name. No, so let's just yeah, it's unique. Okay. All right, and then we need to figure some of these out, right? So let's see what we had here. We're gonna in this case we need the location, and this is just variable, like variable character. We don't need too much, so we're just gonna say like 100 characters, right? Less than a tweet. And then we have OS, same thing, variable character, 100. Then we have CPU, same thing, variable character, 100 CPU. Let's do all of this real quick. RAM, GPU, HD, network. So here, right? Network interface card 1, network interface card 2, and then we should also sort of we can put it in there, but technically we should do like network interface card 1 speed, right? So we should know what we should really be more detailed. But in this case, we're just going to do that. We're going to indicate the speed in the field. So so I created those by mistake. I need to add more. So you can always add more. I'm going to right here, right? We're going to add that was 9, so we need 6 more. All right, after SNCC 2. All right, and then I needed network. We did okay. So let's do, if there's Wi-Fi, we're gonna add that variable character, and then we have mouse and keyboard. And mind you, I am not observing certain rules like camel case and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm just doing this very quickly. But we needed version, I believe. Version and size. No, I can't type. Version and size, and I think that's it. All right, so let's make all of these variable characters. And as you can see, when I made a mistake earlier, I didn't have to enter the lengths of values. It just saved them. Oh, maybe I did. I do. So let's do 100, 100, and then we're gonna see how the other ones are wrong. And let's save. All right. So now let's look. So these are all integers. So we have to change these. So we're gonna have to edit these. Right. So let's edit these real quick. It's very easy. Change. Right. And so we want variable character, variable character, variable character. Now, if you had to do a lot of text, you would use text, but because we're only doing like small strings of text, you just want to use variable character, right? All right, and then okay, save. Okay, so now we have our first table, right, which is called computers. So we're gonna create now another table real quick. And here, you would go in here, and we're going to call it users, right? And so we need user ID, right? Name, last or first, right? First and last. Email, and phone number, maybe, right? Let's see. Okay, so it only gave me 4 fields, but let's do phone. All right, so all of these should also be variable character, variable character, variable character, variable character, variable character, except for this one. This one should be. So user ID should be serial, and let's go here, serial, right? And there should be like maybe 6 values in length. We can do 100 for these. 100, that's way too much for those, but that's okay. And then we need only like 13 for a phone number, right? Okay, save. So now we have a second table called users, right? And we need to keep track of users. Can be independent, right? Because you have an inactive user, right? So since we could have an inactive user, we're gonna add one more field, call it active, right? So that way we can keep track of, and we're gonna make it a Boolean, right? So we can just say yes or no, right? Okay, perfect. And so, and same thing with the machines, right? These machines, there's one more field that we can add to it, right? We're gonna add one more column, and it should be also called, active. All right, so active. We're gonna make that a Boolean, yes or no. All right. So now we have that, and now we need to do one for software. So we're gonna create a little table, and I call it software. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on this. So software ID, right? This is a serial. This is a serial number. I can't find serial. Sorry guys. Sometimes serial. Okay, there we go. All right, and then name, just variable character, version, bar character, and then this would be something like license, right? All right, and then one more. Let's save that one. We're gonna add one more. Oh, I need to add to these 100. Just make it 100. It's just easier. This is like 6, right? Save. All right, and then we're gonna add a couple more after license. We're gonna do something like support. If we have a support number, 100. Save. Feel free to expand on these. All right. So now we have 3 tables, right, in our database called ELAG, computer, software, and users. So now we can build what we need to build, right? We can relate certain things, and so we can create a couple more tables to keep track of all of this. Or we can do it all in PHP. So yeah, I think that's what we need one more table, and we're gonna create that. So we're gonna it's a join table, and it looks something like this, right? New table, and it's gonna be called user software, user soft hard, user hardware software, right? User hardware software, and it's going to be really simple because it's just going to have the user ID, it's going to have the computer ID, and it's going to have the software ID. And this table is going to keep track of all the other information in one place. All right, so save it. Let's make it 100. And that is it for the database part, right? That's how we get started putting this form into a database form that is going to be useful for us to create a web interface for. So after looking at the database, I wanted to give you guys a challenge, right? I think that the best way of doing this is through PHP and HTML, but I know that a lot of you are taking Java, so you should figure out a way of create a form that enters that information into a database. Eventually, we're going to combine everything into one server and create the web interface together, right? In a group class. But for now, you should be able to do this on your own in Java. The other thing that I want you to think about is how do you expand this form? Now, ask yourself questions, right? Like, okay, I'm keeping track of computers, so I need to know, of course, oh, well, if I'm going to service a computer, I need to know the user's password. And if I need to know the user's passwords, how do I keep track of that password in a secure way? Ask yourself questions so that you can create a kick-ass form, right, that will keep track of important information, but more than important information, relevant information, right? It has to be relevant to what we're doing. And I'll explain a little bit more about joint tables later. The reason why we need a joint table is because a machine can have multiple users and it can have multiple software, right? And software can be in many different machines. So that fourth table that we created is where all of that magic happens. And I will teach you guys how to get there, how to put it all together so that all that information is coherent and available when you need it, right? So, all right, that's it for today. I hope you like the videos, and feel free to DM me on Discord if you have any questions. All right, have a good weekend.